Hey guys, this is Jason Bitbender Brink. I'm here doing a little bit of an AMA with the guys over at Brave. And they're running a little bit late today, so I figured I would just jump on and handle a few questions from our own community. So hit us up in Discord at galagames.chat and we can take whatever questions you may have about Gala, about Brave, about Gala Games, about the future of the Galaverse, whatever it is. We are here to answer your questions. I'm going to go ahead and just pick some questions from the general channel here and post a little announcement, sending it out to everybody, and we're good to go. Okay. Sent out to all of the servers, so we will handle all of the questions from all of the people. Okay, ooh. So here we go. We have a question from Yusuf. What determines the treasure chest gas fee? Because right now they're way too high to be worth redeeming anything, and it feels kind of bad. Yeah, we're not a huge fan of gas fees either. That's something that we're obviously working on through a lot of different L1 and L2 integrations that hopefully will be worked out here before too terribly long, because nobody likes paying gas fees, especially not us. We're not a big fan. Anarchist, what is the meaning of life? Anarchist wants to know, what is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of life? That's a great AMA question, isn't it? I don't know. I think that for me personally, this is probably a little bit more philosophical than one would expect for the typical AMA. The meaning of life is to have the largest positive impact that you can on the world around you. You know, there's this, hey, it's Luke. Luke is joining. Maybe we'll ask him too. Hey, Luke, you are live. Luke's mic is connecting. Hey, there he is. Hey, Luke, you are live, man. How are you doing? We are streaming.
I'm doing well. How are you doing, man?
Doing okay. I just got asked what the meaning of life is. I started out with like AMA questions, and the first one coming from Anarchist is what is the meaning of life? So you want to take that? You want to
That's
hit
a
it?
loaded question.
It's
That's a
a
loaded question.
pretty light question for a Wednesday afternoon. No big deal, right?
Right, right. The meaning of life. I don't know. Do cool things and
There you
enjoy your
go.
family.
There you go. You make
How
sure
would you
you're
answer
showing
that
up
one,
okay.
Jason?
Oh man, that's a big philosophical question. That's a big philosophical. What I was starting to say is I think that had the meaning of life is like there's this concept that we live in this kind of like cold, uncaring universe, right? Like this sort of nihilistic approach in which nothing really matters. But in a universe in which nothing really matters, we have the ultimate choice. We get to make the things that we think matter. And what matters to me is having a positive impact and finding new ways to do new things that make existing in this cold and uncaring universe brighter and warmer for other people. So
That
that's
was beautifully put.
kind of my thing. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I could be entirely wrong. Who knows?
I think it's good, man. So that's
Um,
very warm.
yeah. So, how would you like to pull questions? I opened it up in the general channel of our Discord, which is pretty hopping right now.
Cool. I can do
They've
that.
got
Yeah.
lots of questions, but I want to make sure that we pull some from your community as well, because I'm sure you've got people who are throwing questions out there.
Yes, indeed. Let me double check where we're at over here. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Do you want to lead with ones from your guys, and then we
Sure,
can? Yeah.
sure. We got a lot of people saying hi to you.
Hello.
Jimmy says just say 42 and move on. Big fan, absolute great fan of that answer. Um, let's see. Uh, can anything that we can say about tower NFTs coming down the pipe? So I don't know if you're aware of this, Luke, but we've recently released news that there is going to be another game coming to our platform called Fortified,
Cool.
which is a tower defense game. And yeah, there's I do have some news. Make sure that you keep your nodes on. Probably end of next week, you should start seeing drops of some of the first tower NFTs. We're going to be dropping some of those sort of spaced out because there's going to be a lot of towers. We know that in a tower defense game, you need towers. So there's going to be a lot of those. So that's going to be a good thing. Yeah. And let's see. We have given plenty. There's some people asking questions about Mirandus and things like that too. But
Go
we
for it.
can come back to. Okay, sure. So, let me deal with Singleton 5896 question. So, Bitbender, the salty bot on Townstar. Why isn't it yet delivered to our treasure chest? Give us an absolute estimate on when it will arrive. So the love the absolute estimates. I can absolutely estimate that it will be soon, but that's probably not the answer you're looking for. Am I right? So the thing with the salty bot and the fountains and all of those types of things, those are all the second part of the fulfillment system that we've just released. So we've just released Fulfillment 2.0, which handles orders. The next part of that handles the things that aren't orders. They're the distributions that come from another wallet because they're other previously minted items that there isn't an initiating transaction for. So we're hoping that that's going to be worked out within the next couple weeks, which should clean up all of the problems with people not getting fountains when they think that they should get them, and salty bots and all of those things. So I hope that answers your question. Let's
I'm
see.
catching up on the Gala chat questions now too.
No worries, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see we have somebody that bought a sweatshirt. I love that.
Yeah, the switchers are so cool, man.
Excellent.
Oh yeah, Sai's super super cool. I think that's how we
Awesome.
say his name. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. We actually played D&D with him the other day.
Nice.
He was one of our community D&D members who joined up.
Excellent.
Um,
Let's see what we got.
yeah. So there's this cool question from Sai actually. How does Brave tie into the Minotaur? I think for me personally, challenging a Minotaur is something that you have to be profoundly brave to do. Okay, it's not a thing for the weak of heart. You must be stout of courage and willing to go into the bold and untrod reaches of dungeons in order to do that. And to me, and again, this is probably your line, Luke, but to me, that's one of the things that Brave represents, is the willingness to look at the way that things have always been done in terms of advertising in browsers and selling as of user data, and saying, yeah, I think we can do better. Let's do that. Let's challenge the status quo. Let's say, screw it, we're doing it our own way, and invent something completely new. And
Yeah, I think it's very well put. I mean, it's one of those things where, working with you all has been great because, especially in the gaming space, you all are doing things here that aren't really, like, people are talking about NFTs a lot right now and like collectibles and, the art sense, but you guys have been making functional NFTs in gaming, right? Like, and the fact
yeah,
that we could kind of even be a part of something like that, and then add our touch to it was really cool. I mean, those Minotaurs look awesome too, and like, a lot of people picked them up pretty quick. But it was one of those neat things where, you all are working in the web. We're a browser, and we're doing everything on behalf of users and user first, right? Like, and
Right.
that's where there's such a good parallel with what blockchain gaming is doing and what we're doing, is that we make it so that you own your data, you own your browsing experience, you own your attention, and you all have it so that you own everything you're doing in the game, right? Like, and that's such a powerful thing when you think about how much money you waste, like, from game to game,
Oh
having to
God,
pick up
yes.
everything from zero, like. So yeah, I think anywhere we can tie in Brave to that is something we're interested in, and it was a cool way for us to kind of do something together with NFTs, like, and kick off this partnership.
Oh, for sure. And for those of you who are just joining us now, I don't know if you know this, Luke, but we're actually streaming across 5 platforms right now. We're on
Oh,
Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Periscope, we're on. Actually, I think we're even going to be on LinkedIn here pretty soon.
wow.
But anyone who wants to join this, we're doing an open AMA, anything Gala/Brave. If you go to galagames.chat, you can join our Discord, and we're all in the general board right now, and people are asking questions. So come ask. Doc wants to know, did we align on the tower rarity count for Fortified? We're working on bits and pieces of that. There are pieces of that are being tuned right now. So, Almighty Echo says, how does someone who has nothing, no deeds, no NFTs, no Gala, Mirandus nodes, or currency to purchase Gala prosper in that world? I'm guessing the world would be Mirandus, is the direction that we're going with there. And I think that there's actually some interesting parallels here between the way that a user who joins up and who has nothing can prosper, and the way that a user who has a browser, when you download the Brave browser and you start, viewing advertising, okay? And, we are advertising partners with Brave. So, when people view our homepage takeovers, right? That counts as part of their advertising, quota views, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
It's about what are you contributing to the ecosystem, okay? By supporting Brave's advertisers, you're actually contributing to the entire Brave ecosystem. When you join a game, when you come play Mirandus, okay, and you decide that, what I'm going to do? I'm going to go into the forest and I'm going to get this specific type of resource that is needed to make this specific potion. It's a terrible pain. Nobody wants to do it, but I'm willing to do it, and I know that I can get this resource and I can sell it to a potion maker. That's how you do that. It's the same sort of thing. How do you contribute to the broader ecosystem, and how do you participate? Um, they're,
Doc's
they're,
getting the screenshots going.
Doc will meme the hell out of you, man. They will.
I love it.
They will definitely do that.
I see one from Ed777 that I could grab. Like, what is the future of Brave Rewards? It's a great question. Like, when we initially kind of went to market with this, it was around kind of building this ecosystem between creators, users, and advertisers that would address something that hadn't been done before, where, as a user of other browsers and advertising in general, you're really getting nothing but the short end of the stick. Like, you get ads, but it's not, they're overly targeted to you. They're not very good. It's the cost of getting those ads is very high, and the experience and all your data that's getting collected. But we've grown that ecosystem up to, we've got over 1 million content creators that have verified to accept that. And the next kind of phase has been like, okay, like, we can help reward creators. We have people earning, BAT every month. Like, how can we get them to put that BAT to work? And so you can see things like, Brave introducing like VPN, or, a video conferencing service where you can use BAT to access that. We've been doing a lot with NFTs with you guys. Like, you can see other cases where, those NFTs have redemption value. You can unlock content. You can do certain things exclusively in Brave, tournaments, etc. And also, like, with NFTs blowing up in the way they are, like, we have this 1 million creator pool. Also, like there's this new kind of upstart of NFT creators coming to market. Like, how can we potentially like extend the option for NFT creators to verify with Brave, or for our existing creators, like how can we turn and like open up the door to NFTs and additional blockchain services for them where they can make more money? And those are areas where we're kind of looking at growing out the ecosystem and putting in different rewards, and also like through partners, et cetera. But I think we integrated IPFS natively, and Brave came out with that in January. If you look at services like Pinata, all you really need to have is like an email account, and then you can OAuth, and then start pinning stuff and turning that into NFTs. Like the on ramps for people that aren't familiar with blockchain are getting easier and easier. And one thing that we've been able to do really well at Brave has been that bridge between the fully decentralized Web3 world and then mainstream browsing, which the blockchain space has been great. You have really great smart people here. Like, we've been in the realm for a long time, but usability has not really been like a core focus. But that's one of the reasons why we were drawn to working with gaming partners, is that people know gaming, people know collectibles, people know these things. It's easy to relate to them. And with us, like, even when we launched Brave Rewards, we were thinking like, okay, how do we present this to users? And what we ended up with was just call it a token. Just say, you earn tokens while you browse, like keep it super simple. And that's what's really resonated so well. I mean, we've generated 13 million rewards wallets lifetime to date. Like, that's, and from what our own research says, it's around 60% of our audience is into crypto and using crypto on a regular basis. So that's like 40% of our audience like may not even realize that they're passively earning crypto. It's just these tokens. But that's kind of the trick, right? You've got to like, how are you going to get millions of people to use this stuff? And it's like gaming. It's like things like Gemini has a card where you can earn like 3% crypto from your regular purchases, stuff like that, where you're incorporating things you already are familiar with and are using. Like, that's kind of where we're going with Brave. And we've been kind of pragmatic with our approach, but that's kind of how you have to be. We had a product before we did our token sale. Like, that was really rare in 2017. And so like, we've always had, the stakes have been a little bit higher around us making sure that we're doing everything in compliance with the law and all that stuff that a lot of other projects kind of like shrugged off or gave us crap about or whatever, like. And so now we're at the point now where it's like, gosh, you guys, 25 million monthly active users. Like, we're consolidating the plan into our roadmap that we put out a couple of weeks ago. And we're talking about bringing search to market independently, like really things that bread and butter, internet browsing, but except with our position of like user first, and like, this is your agency. It's not just about Mother Google and the ship taking all your stuff and trust them. It's more like, no, this is my stuff. Like, this is how I want to do things, and I should be able to do that on my own device. So yeah, long story short, that's kind of where we're headed with this. And I think the other thing you can look at is like, as we get bigger, we have all these creators that are working with us and partners, et cetera. Like, this went from a game where we were trying to grow ourselves to where we can actually help partners grow and help creators. Like, creators have such a hard time right now. When we introed like YouTube support, right? Like in November of, I think it was 2017. And back then they just had put their like 10,000 lifetime view limit before they'll monetize with anything. We actually were working with this guy, Scott Cunningham. He's a YouTube creator. He's building his channel up for like 4 years, got it to 3,000 subscribers. They didn't even start paying him until, third quarter last year, like October-ish. Like, could you imagine like just building up this thing for YouTube, basically, like, of your own content, not getting anything for years? And like, we were able to help him with our ad platform, drives audience from 3,000 to we're going to hit 10,000 today, 10,000 subscribers in less than a month. And so like, ways that we can incorporate value, or if creators are earning, like, how can we turn that into a way that you can grow your audience? Because when we can do something like grow that creator's audience base, not only are they going to make more, they're going to make that from users in our ecosystem, but that growth has this kind of secondary effect where all of a sudden their RPMs, the rate that they earn advertising on YouTube, goes from like from $1 to $2 to like, let's say $3 to $4, just because they've been able to grow. So there are ways that we can kind of like hack the system with creators in their favor, which is something that's been long gone. Like it's really hard for them to monetize. And so we're looking at ways that we can do that with what we have, and then ways that we can integrate new things. And it's a pretty exciting time.
I absolutely agree. Yes, for sure. I really like what you guys are doing and a lot of the innovation. I like the fact that you in the blockchain space, it's very easy for people to put out a roadmap and then not do those things. Very, very easy for people to do that. And I really respect that you guys, when you did your token sale initially, that you already had a functioning product. Most people don't. That, you know, you have really stuck to your guns in terms of everything that you've done, you know, from day one. And that's something that I have a mad amount of respect for. So you guys are fantastic. This is not the Mayweather AMA. But I am scared of Pacquiao. I'm reasonably sure that Pacquiao would kick my white ass across any sort of ring that I happen to find myself in with him. For sure.
Oh, there's another question too. Is Sai, I think, how do you compare Brave to other data ownership related blockchain projects like Permissions
Sure.
Ask? Yeah, I think, you know, and then the second part of that was, will Brave work alongside them, or are they considered competitors? So it's a fantastic question, right? Like, and I think, you know, one of the cool things about the blockchain space is like, you know, we have our own ecosystem here, like with rewards and with BAT and all of that. But like, you know, we've natively integrated IPFS. Like we're working on, you know, additional, you know, domain name resolution services with like Unstoppable and ENS and other platforms. It's really kind of like a playground for protocols. But also the great thing about Brave is that it's a Chromium based browser. So we basically like strip out all the phone home stuff to Google and like proxy stuff that we have to have for services. But really you get like a private browser. But the benefit of that is that you can use any Chrome extension in Brave. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Like we get like a lot of crap from like, you know, Bitcoin maximalists and other folks just because we did our own token, which is like, look, we did that after we tried Bitcoin, right? Like we tried Bitcoin, fees got out of control. We had to switch gears. Like we did our own token. It actually worked better for what we were trying to do. But there's nothing stopping Brave user and Brave from using Bitcoin for anything, and we actually encourage it. I think like
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
there's this whole idea of like having this maximalist approach to everything is just not really compatible with technology because you know nothing is like that in technology. Everything like you got Sega, you got you know Nintendo, you got all these different you know players, and I think like from where we're coming from. It really gets down to the core principles. It's like, you know, if you have another project and you can access it in Brave, we want blockchain to be successful.
Yes.
Like we
Yeah, no,
want this stuff, like it makes the whole world a better place. Like, you know, I don't even like saying that, but I'm saying that. So like, you know, it's one of those things where it can really like have a material impact in your life. Like,
oh, for sure,
there are a few
man.
things that are like that, you know.
It's one of the things that I do love about the blockchain space is that, you know, this works better if we all work together. You know, it's very, very easy. And I can see even today the massive differences from the way that things are today to the way that they were in like 2016, 2017, 2018, where back then you had these little tiny tribes of very, very angry people who would, you know, brigade each other's, you know, communities and, you know, stir up all of this drama and stuff like that. And I'm finding today that things are much more positive, much more cooperative. People are realizing, hey, look, we can all work together to advance this collective mission together. We don't have to fight over things. I think that makes a huge difference. You occasionally do get the group that is a little bit more contentious. But you know, ultimately at the end of the day, they're still just doing the thing that they believe is correct and is, you know, better for everything. And I think that a lot of times, specifically, you know, you mentioned the maximalists, specifically in that case, their essential argument that most of the altcoins that exist out there are, you know, these terrible, ridiculous scam projects. And they're not wrong in so
they're
many
not.
cases.
I mean, like, that's what's so
It's like well yeah, there's a lot of really bad stuff out there. We're not the bad stuff, but there's tons of bad stuff, you know. And Bitcoin is amazing. Bitcoin is a revolution that is you know changing the world as we know it. You know, but it also doesn't do everything. You know,
right.
it's you have a toolbox for a reason. You don't have just one screwdriver that is your multi-purpose tool that does all of the things, because screwdrivers make terrible hammers.
Well, and
Um,
there's been a progression too with Bitcoin, right? Like
yeah,
it was originally like it wasn't thought of as a store of value at all. Like it was, you go hook up the faucet. I remember when we used to like, you could just get tons of Bitcoin. Like it was so
right,
easy, and
right.
then and everyone's like trying to kind of going, okay, it's the new cash type of thing, and then there's a progression there, right? Like, and
Yeah,
I think what's really cool to me, like with what you just said, like comparing 2016, 2017 to now, is like that was like a lot of hopium and white papers and abstract and teams and faith, right? Like now it's like, no, stuff's working. Like, oh my gosh,
we're building. Right.
we're building, we've been building, it's built, and this powerful tools like and with things like with DeFi where you can have liquidity pools and do these swaps and stuff, it's much more of a cooperative kind of climate. Like that was the one thing when we started working with you guys that was really interesting because we checked in on blockchain gaming when we did our token sale. It wasn't very established, and then when we started working with you guys, we were working with Splinterlands too, and we were working with a lot of these gaming partners, and we saw this trend of like people suggesting let's do interoperable things, let's do things where we can collaborate with other projects. It's like such a contrast to anything outside of this space where it is highly competitive. It's closed cone of silence kind of treatment on things, and that's one of the reasons why we're here. It's just like having that kind of collaboration. This stuff doesn't get built by one entity, and it doesn't get built in a day. It's a lot of open work and a lot of participation, and in gaming it's just like getting people to game, like but there's so much value in this. I mean, it's like the stuff you can do with DeFi and and now with NFTs, it's just nuts. And it's changing. Like, I don't know. I'm older, like than a lot. Like I remember savings account where you got something for saving money, like, and that kind of went away. And now like DeFi is like, whoa, hey, like I
Right.
can stake this stuff I'm just holding and earn. This is
Oh
amazing. Like,
man, I remember when I opened my first savings account as a kid. My mom explained the concept of interest to me, and I think I got like 3 or 4% on the account or something like that. Like, I didn't have any money. I put like a couple $100 in there or something like that. But it was like this big thing. Oh, you save money and you get interest, and that's how you are financially stable. And yeah, that's just not how the financial system works anymore.
no,
It just isn't. Like it's so fundamentally broken. The banks are now like, please give us money and we will hold your money and we will give you less of it. And here, have some fees.
that's one of the super interesting things about now too, though, like comparing it to like 2016, 2017. It was a very much like a anti, not anti-banking, but it was very much like a challenger space to banking. And now you've got like banks involved where it's like, and now you got like regulators saying, hey, banks can actually validate on the blockchain. It's like, whoa, okay, different
Well,
level different
I
level here now.
oh,
Yeah.
for sure. And it's interesting. I mean, if when you look at this is a technology that has applicability to banks, to basically everyone. It's just a matter of putting it and presenting it in a way that they can actually use. I mean, it's so like blockchain just period is so superior to something like the Swift network. Like, it's not even funny, just in terms of speed. And I think that every project has contributed to this. One of the things that I've always liked is I know a lot of people give Ripple a hard time, but Ripple has brought a lot of attention to to the entire industry, and has connected with banks and made them more open to the idea of blockchain. Because one of the things that I hate about the industry in general is that somehow we started out using the word cryptocurrency, which is like a terrible idea as a branding decision. It's like, man, let's hidden money. Yes, that's not going to attract any negative attention whatsoever. Let's call it secret dark money. Everyone will like that. But the organizations, like Ripple and like yourselves and like us, it's about creating something, putting it out in the open where everybody can see it. And even if people take issue with parts of it, because there's always going to be people who take issue with one piece or another, I think they do a really, all of us have done a good job at putting this forward and beginning to shift public opinion about it. Because at the end of the day, blockchain needs to be invisible. It's just part of the tech stack. It needs to not be like the thing. It's just one of the things that is important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like look at like email, right? Like nobody cares about the email protocol. Like they just want email that works.
Right.
Back in the '90s, it was that protocol level. And now it's like everyone's using it. I think the other cool thing is that these projects, like the community element is so important, and especially like because a year or two ago there were a lot of debates around like, oh well, there's enterprise blockchain and public blockchains and yada yada yada, and like
Right. Right.
that public element of it, the community element of it, whether it's a game or browser or anything, like having that instant feedback, like, and also doing this stuff open source, there's nowhere to hide. Like, you're going to get called out by your most loyal people because they like what you're
Oh,
doing,
for
which
sure.
is like the best way to do it, in my opinion. Like, and I
Yeah.
worked in advertising for a long time, black box land, it wasn't fun. Like, and here it's like, no, we encourage feedback. We want to hear it. Like, our CEOs on Twitter talking to anybody that wants to talk about this stuff. It's just
Yep.
like a
Yep.
much better way of working than the past, where you have all this abuse because you're everything's done in secret and it's all done under the table or whatever. And this doesn't allow for that. And
Yeah.
the other thing is, you realize how flawed the banking system is. Like, how even in 2021 it's like, gosh, it can take me multiple days to get something from one end to another. It's like, it seems ridiculous, but that's
Yeah.
just how it works. It's just crazy.
Well, yeah, and don't even start me on the fees and the paperwork and the all of that. It's just ridiculous.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, no. When you talk about protocols and things like that, I mean, do you remember uh, LAN parties? Do you ever do LAN
Yes,
parties?
yes, it is land
Where,
parties.
where
Yeah, yeah.
you would load up your god awfully huge CRT in the back of the car, and you'd take it to some friend's house and like lug it down into the basement. Be careful, don't drop it, because it's like a 21-inch thing that weighs 800 pounds in your tower, and you get everything down there and you plug it in, and it takes like 45 freaking minutes to get the subnet set up, and all of these different things so that you can finally play a game together. um, I think we're just getting past that spot in blockchain,
Yeah,
just getting past it.
so
and
close.
and we're almost at the point where it becomes ubiquitous and begins to fade into the background as just an obvious piece of the tech. We should answer questions, though. We're having too much fun talking.
Yeah, we
um,
should.
let's see. Any more news on taverns? Oh God, land parties. Jesse, don't do that. Okay, let's see. So I'll deal with the house that Ripple built. There seems to be a lot more deeds for sale than places to put them in the Miranda's world. Can you elaborate on the plan for that? It seems like people would be disappointed if they paid for a deed and couldn't put it down. So there's a couple angles here. The likelihood of everyone trying to put something down at any one instance is pretty is not super high. On top of that, if you look at it as the world of Mirandus is supposed to be a simulation. Okay, that means there are probably going to be a lot more people who have ideas for businesses than there are necessarily spots to stick them at any one moment. The nice thing about this is that it will be possible at some point in time in the future for the deeds themselves to potentially grow. Okay, this is not a guaranteed thing, but that is definitely something that could happen. So there may be opportunities to expand this depending on how placement and whatnot works out in actual practice. So that's going to be one of those watch and iterate sort of things. Um, let's see here.
I see a question about physical NFTs.
Ooh, oh, physical NFTs. I think we had something we wanted to say about physical NFTs, didn't
Yes,
we,
we
Luke?
did. Yes, we did. Do you want to?
How interesting. Yes, I would love to. Although, first, before I do that, let me just tell everyone who's probably posting comments furiously in Periscope saying, "Why aren't they reading my comments?" Um, the place we're getting all of these questions right now for this AMA are from the Gala Games Discord. So if you go to galagames.chat and join the general room, that is where we're currently answering all of these questions. So, let's see here. A physical NFT, Luke. Um, I think that the whole crystal thing went pretty well, wouldn't you say?
I would say it went very well.
Right.
It was excellent.
So people, and those of you guys who don't know, and if somebody could post one in the chat, that would be super, just so everybody can see it. Um, yes, everyone pay attention to the stream. Carrie has spoken. Okay, listen to Carrie. So people bought a crystal, and inside the crystal there was a beautiful laser engraved minotaur from Mirandus, which looks like magical amazingness just floating there in the crystal. And with that, there was a redemption code that you could, go to our website and you could redeem for a homestead in the world of Mirandus. And that was pretty cool. People really really liked the homesteads. There we go. The Atlantean has posted his with a beautiful amethyst pyramid on top. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Um, so yes, that beautiful thing there. So we were thinking, it would really be fun if we could do another crystal, something that might be a little bit, maybe something Town Star related would be kind of cool. So we decided that what we were going to do is we were going to do a farm bot. And the photographer has not yet sent us the final photos of these. So expect to see them soon. But they're going to be a crystal that has a farm bot inside. And the NFT that will be able to be redeemed. Okay. Now pay attention, guys, because this is super important. The NFT that is going to be able to be redeemed from these is a pickaxe for the farm bot. Now, there are very few of these out in the wild. Very, very, very few. Okay? So I expect that these are going to be, people are going to want these and may snap them up pretty quickly. They will be available, I'm guessing, probably within the next few weeks from the Brave store.
Yeah.
So they're going to be super cool. I will post a neat little picture here as soon as we get the official ones, and there'll be, of course, blog posts and things like that. But yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. And somebody, if you guys could, like John, go find one of the pickaxes on OpenSea or something and link that over. There we go.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Groove did it. So that's going to be the NFT that you can claim here.
Very cool.
Ooh, that's beautiful. They sell purdy. Okay, let me deal with a couple because I've seen Commander Millarn ask this question a few times, and I don't want to ignore it. It's about the hackathon from GalaCon. We have reviewed those submissions, and we're going to be putting a few of them to a vote by the nodes here very shortly. So there were a lot of really cool ideas. There were a lot of ideas that were not very well fleshed out. Some of them were like, you should make an FPS. And that was the sum total of the idea, which not enough. But there are a few of these that were quite good that we will be putting out there. So that will be in the next few days. You should see news on that. Well, it won't actually be a physical pickaxe. It will be a NFT pickaxe that is tied to the physical NFT of the farm bot crystal. Okay, let's see here. For the physical NFTs, if you resell them, is there a way for the buyer to verify whether the redemption code has been used? At this point in time, there is not. That is something we would like to potentially do in the future, but at this point, that's not been built in. And for 88 Michael Reddy, how long until we find out which AAA companies are supporting Gala Games? I'm going to turn that on its head and say, how long will it be until you find out which AAA companies Gala Games is supporting?
Boom.
Let's see. Has has Elon Musk bought the second Citadel? Ask him.
Yeah,
Ask him if he has.
That's
We
when we bought it
we
in bat.
yeah, we do not release information on that sort of stuff. It's up to the buyers to release that information if and when they feel like. Obviously, the buyer is working closely with us on a few, sort of ecosystem related things tied to their Citadel, but we cannot release their identity unless they want us to. So you're totally free to tag Elon and ask him though. That totally, just make sure you also tag us and Brave, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Who knows? You never know where those things are going to go.
You never know.
What did he call himself? Techno God? He is now the Techno God of Tesla?
Something like that. Yeah, yeah. I think
I
there was
like it.
meme god was thrown around or something like that too. These are crazy times we're in. It's yeah. I would have never guessed that Tesla would have bought, what was that, like 1.5 billion of Bitcoin or something like that. It was an insane number. It's good times. Good times.
Let's see. Techno King. Yeah, Techno King. There we go.
There you
Thank
go.
you, Rebu.
Excellent.
Does the Gala token have a cap or is it indefinitely created? It does have a cap. The cap is 50 billion. Thank you, Burgundy Touch. Oh, his CFO is Master of Coin? That's so awesome. When will Gala be listed as a verified content creator on Brave? I think that's something that we're working on right now. That was something that that Jenny provided me all of the necessary information for at one point in time, and just because my life consists of waking up at 4 a.m. and screaming until midnight while I work on things. Like we're doing solid 18-hour days here. That's just how we work. I took my first day off in like 6 months 2 weeks ago. Is the day after GalaCon. I just couldn't. I broadcast for like 20 hours, 22 hours over 2 days. I just couldn't be alive that day, and still I was online working with people by like 4 p.m. So that will happen soon, but it was me that dropped the ball on that. So external streaming too, screaming, blah. We're allowed days off. Well, no.
What are days off?
Yeah.
Crypto never sleeps.
It doesn't. It doesn't sleep.
Take
That's
holidays.
that's one of the things that I love about this. Like, we had we have these great meetings where we're bringing in partners that we're talking to from all over the world. We're talking to game developers from almost every continent right now that are bringing games on board. We're talking to various other ecosystem partners that I can't go into too much, but we're having these great meetings where it's like we'll have a meeting with people from 4 different continents all at once, everybody on the same call, and it's just magic. It's just the most completely magical thing. I mean, can you imagine going back in history and being able to have a conversation with somebody in like Colombia, and
Yeah.
you just look at them and talk to them? Well, you also have somebody in Rome and somebody in Beijing all on the same call. Madness.
It used to be like a 90s movie thing, like you see in like a James Bond movie or something, and now it's like
Yes.
most of that's real life now.
Yes, exactly. They have the suitcase that they open with the little screen that's
Exactly.
like green and pixely and shimmery and things.
Yeah, I mean, even like in the last year, like with COVID and everything, I mean, we had this kind of connectivity before, but now it just kind of was a forcing function, and it's like, wow, like it's going to totally change how people work for a long time, but there's also a missing element too. I mean, I think to being in person, but we'll figure out where the happy middle is there. But
Well, I think one of the things that's important, and what COVID has done, is that it has shined a light on the lie that is the concentration and centralization of business and activity. You know, if you go back to the 1800s, you know, you needed people to all come together in cities to work. And so we had these mega cities that grew up out of the land. And I don't want to be all Final Fantasy VII, but they polluted the earth and things got really ugly and terrible. And people lived in little tiny, you know, places and worked in, you know, boxes. It was, you know, terrible. And we don't have to do that anymore. One of the things that's cool about the way that we work, and I think you guys are pretty much the same way, is we're entirely decentralized. Mm-hmm. We have people all over the place. Our human resources department is constantly, you know, dealing with all of the state and local bureaucracies as we bring new people on to get us registered to do business and hire people in that specific state so that we can pay specific state taxes and things like that. You know, as our team grows, you know, our footprint does like that. But the cool thing is there is not, and probably never will be, some giant building somewhere that has our name on it, because mm-hmm. it's expensive, it's completely ego driven, and it's entirely unnecessary.
Yeah. We had a main office in San Francisco, but even then, like, you know, it got to the point where it's like traveling so often that, you know, I would maybe 3-4 times a month go in, but there's something cool about, like, from our point of view, like at Brave, we've been an open source project from the beginning, and the fact that you have people like even my team, like everybody on my team at Brave, they were all people that volunteered in the community because they just wanted to be part of this thing, yep. right? And yep. and the amount of talent that you get, and the quality of people that you get, because they like something enough to just want to be a part of it. And then those are always the people that you want. Like, those are the best right. people to have on, because they want skin in the game. It's not that they're like looking. Yeah, exactly. They actually care. That's exactly right. And I think, you know, I don't know what this will all end up, you know, changing to once this stuff's over, but, you know, I don't think that piece is ever going to go away. Like, and it's one of the values of having open source, you know, contributors, and, you know, you can build things with, you know, you typically need 300 people or something like that. Like the Chrome security team is 100 people for their security right. team for their browser. Our whole company has grown to 100 people, but like it was like 12 when I started working here. Like, it was very small, right. you know, and having open source community and having all these remote conditions and decentralizing everything is just it wouldn't have happened without that. Like, it just doesn't happen without that. And I think, you know, that's what's so great about the blockchain space too, is that's the whole ethos. It's just like people that want to work on stuff, like, and you can do amazing things.
I 100% agree. Hold on, let me see something. Sorry, checking a message from my wife. She's walking back from somewhere. Anyway, let's see here. There was a question that I saw here that I wanted to answer. Burgundy Touch says, will we target the mobile gaming market? Townstar looks friendly for it. You can play Townstar on your mobile without any difficulty. It's not a specific target. I think that what we want to do is we want to make things as open and cross-compatible as possible. So where possible, we will certainly enable mobile gaming. There are some things that may or may not, you know, work out nicely for mobile gaming, but you know, I think that's I mean, that's going to be the nature of things. Some games are just too big to fit on a phone right now, but I have, you know, full faith that in very short order, phones will, you know, continue to increase in power and things like that, and you'll be able to play whatever you want on them. John wants secrets. John says, tell us some secrets. You got any good secrets you want to share?
I don't have any good secrets. I'm an open book, man.
right?
Except when I'm legally bound not to be, in which case I can't say anything anyway. So, yeah, no secrets here.
No secrets. I don't know. I don't have anything good there. Uh, let's see. I think there should be a game that would be like Dark Souls but mini golf. Isn't that just called mini golf? Like I'm so terrible at mini golf.
I'm pretty good at it, but horrible at regular golf, which makes sense, I guess.
Oh, okay. So Burgundy Touch says, I mean via an app, not via browser. Okay. In reference to the mobile thing. Okay, so here's the deal with that. We would love to. We would absolutely love to. And at one point in time, Townstar was actually an app. Before it was connected to the blockchain, it was a game that you could download from the App Store and play. The problem is that both the App Store and the Play Store and all of these anything that is tied to one of these sort of monetization giants is profoundly unfriendly towards you installing something that is not easy for them to collect their pound of flesh from. So and it's kind of interesting if you look at the Play Store, the App Store, and Steam. The magical number that they have all arrived at is they take a 30% cut off of everything, and it's 30% for a developer. Okay, if you've made your game, that's huge. That's a massive chunk, and so. And the other thing is that if there's any sort of token interaction or any sort of ability to exchange something that could be perceived as value without going through their system, it's technically, according to them, a terms of service violation, and they'll get rid of your app. So we would love to. We would be delighted to. So go tell them that so that we can. It's not something, unfortunately, that they will let us do right now. It's eventually going to be up to pressure from the community to get the big people, the big giants to change their ways to permit this sort of thing.
Yeah, just to echo what you're saying, man. Like we dealt with the same thing too. Like if you look at Brave on iOS, it was like everywhere else for about a year, and then they did a policy change on us where they said, hey, if we will pull your app. Like you got to tweak this the way we wanted you to tweak it, which is just kind of nuts, like your
Yep.
whole business model has to change just to comply with their store. It's like it's really kind of killing a lot of innovation. But we ended up doing it just because you don't want to like piss off the big guys. And then and we just said, okay, wherever we're gonna keep the model that we have wherever we can, and then just figure out ways to make it work with iOS. It was just it's just for real estate, basically. I mean, that's a really crazy thing about this is like,
Yeah.
especially I can imagine with game developers too, especially because the amount of, time, money, investment that you have to put into building a game is like huge. And then, 30% off that is pretty nuts. But, there are people, the market will always find a way to creatively work around these things,
Mm-mm-mm.
or as much as possible. And there's always a dance there too. So I mean, we deal with this though, even as a browser, which is just
Oh yeah.
pretty wild. Like web apps, it should just be open. It's just not the
Yeah,
same way
it
anymore.
shouldn't be an issue. And why would we need an editor distributor in terms of getting things on the App Store? Is that what you're asking, Burgundy? Um, the it's not that we necessarily need it. It's just that that's how people access it. You could always go and download an APK if we made one available to you. But that obviously isn't going to get you anywhere on Apple. So
And these
again,
platforms will like warn you too if you do that, right? Like,
right,
hey, this hasn't been tested by us, or yada yada
exactly.
yada. Like, but the discoverability is huge too, right? Like that's what half of the value is with like YouTube or with the Play Store is the fact that they will put your app in front of millions of people. And looking at it from a business, it's like that's the fastest chance to get to success.
Yeah.
Like yeah. So
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Will Fortified come out before Mirandus? Yes. In all likelihood, absolutely. What else do we have? Oh, question. How is hiring going? Holy hell, it's going fantastically. But we're in this very interesting spot because we have a very unique culture within our company, and this is something that we are fighting so hard to maintain. It's really important for us. So we want to grow as quickly as is practical without losing that. Because somebody could snap their fingers tomorrow and onboard 200 developers through some massive production house, and they would sit in cubicles and not care one bit about what they're creating other than the fact that it gives them a paycheck, and that's not what we want. We have an entirely different ethos about what we're doing, and yeah, it's really important to us to maintain that and to make sure that we're constantly moving in the right direction as a company. So it's going very well. It's gotten to the point where we have 2 weekly, like, whole company meetings. And when I first joined up, like last June or July or something like that, I think it was June. At those company meetings, everybody would talk and everybody would have this opportunity to sort of, talk about what they're working on for the week. And now it's gotten to the part where only team leads have anything to say, and everyone else, they have to, do their updates and breakout meetings. We've got over 30 people right now, I think, and more people are joining every week. There is, if you go to app.gala.games, there's a little thing down on the bottom that says careers. So go check that out. I don't think there's anything there posted just yet, but stuff is being posted right now. Okay, let's see. Could Gala start their own gaming platform like Steam, but for the blockchain? What do you think we're doing, dude? That's literally exactly what we're doing. Okay. We'll get there, man. We'll get there, Burgundy. Just you wait. There's stuff coming that you have no idea about that is going to blow your mind. So, and so actually, I have, unfortunately, Luke, I've got a hard stop at 3 p.m.
I do too.
Okay, great. So let's do this. Let's thank everybody. Okay, and I've made Anders mad. I'm sorry, Anders. I'm sorry, man. Like, just watch. It's gonna be so much fun. So let's thank everybody, and we'll wrap this up. And yeah, so everybody, thank you very much for coming to our AMA, for asking questions and whatnot. You can follow us up for Gala Games. You can hit us up at gala.games. Join our Discord at galagames.chat. Or you can follow us on basically any social media at Go Gala Games.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all for having us too for Brave. I'm Luke Mulks on Twitter, Brave at Brave on Twitter, brave.com. Yeah, you all know where to find me. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Happy to answer.
Awesome. Well,
thanks,
thank
Jason.
you so much. Pleasure, and I will catch up with you guys soon.
All right, talk soon.
Peace out. Bitbender out. Okay, now I have to do the awkward stop the stream thing and find the window that has the button on the other screen that I can't see because of the damn microphone. Okay, we're good. You guys rock. Thank you so much.